Streaming is harder than a 9 to 5. Here's my opinion as a non-successful content creator. That question often gets asked to extremely popular, like, top 1% streamers and content creators.
Streaming harder than a real job? Bro, what? Nah, bro, I'm sorry, man. No.
So I wanted to give my personal perspective. I've been making content and I've been creating videos. I've been doing so seriously for I would say 2 or 3 years now, but I've been making videos since I was 11 years old. I've been making videos before I even knew you could make money doing it, because monetization on YouTube didn't exist. I think it's also worth noting that I went to college for graphic design and video production, so I do have a degree in like content creation basically, and I am self-employed as a videographer doing like legal depositions and whatnot, so I am a professional video maker. As of today, I have made very little money from content creation, and I have spent a significant amount of time doing this stuff. I have dedicated definitely thousands of hours into this, and I have made so little money. My entire work history is blue collar, so I do know what it's like to work. I went from a dishwasher to a line cook to a forklift operator to an auto mechanic, and honestly, I still would say a lot of those jobs are actually easier ways to make money than content creation. If I had a friend who came to me and said, hey, I need to make like $5,000 by the end of the month, content creation might be possible, but I think it's so challenging and so unlikely that you would be better off getting a job. Let me put it this way. I want to be a full-time content creator, but I can't because I make so little money doing this. Because of that, I literally have to go get a job, because getting a job is a much easier way to make money for me than creating content. So a lot of these top tier streamers say that for a lot of reasons. First of all, they are paid an insane amount of money. So the amount of effort that they have to put in for the amount of money they receive might feel really offset for them. People who are really successful, especially with a really lofty, dreamy career like making videos, it's a really bad look when those people go on and say, oh yeah, no, your job is not harder or whatever. Like, it just doesn't look good when a content creator is like, yeah, no, what you do is easy. Like, content creators, celebrities, anyone famous or rich kind of have to downplay their success so it doesn't seem like they have it too good. You know, they have to be like, well, you know, right? Like, personally, in my mind, having a normal job is absolutely an easier way to make money. Like, literally, I don't think there's an easier or faster way to make money in America than getting a job. Like, literally, that is the fastest and easiest way to make money in this country. Any time where you have to stand on your own merit, it's a lot more challenging, especially with something like content creation. If people don't like your videos and don't want to stay and watch you, they also might scroll past your videos for the most ridiculous reasons ever. I mean, I don't watch people who have a solo stash. Like, you know, it's not reasonable at all. The thing about social media is it's beyond brutal. Like, either people are willing to sit through and watch your video, or they're not, and they won't. I mean, if someone doesn't mess with your content at all, they're gone. Like, it's just completely brutal. They're not going to stick around and watch your video out of pity. They're not going to donate money or anything like that. Like, it's difficult. It's a lot more difficult. I'm in a lot of these groups that give like advice for smaller YouTubers or that kind of thing, discussion groups, those kind of things, and I can't tell you how often I see posts that are like, oh, I thought this was just gonna be easy. I thought like I would just upload videos and get rich, and that's it. And it's like, no, you know, your content actually has to be watchable, and like, you actually have to give people value if they're gonna stay and watch through a video and all that stuff. So it's just really funny when people think it's like easy money and it's just as easy as like recording yourself and posting it and then you get $1 million. And don't get me wrong, like, some people get lucky. There's a big disconnect from like quality and what that even means in the content creation space, because I believe quality means like your video is worth watching. And that's not necessarily achieved through camera quality or production quality. It has a lot more to do with the value people are getting out of your video. So again, to reiterate, I have been grinding this for like 10 years. If you want to make money from content creation or really any creative pursuit, which also includes entrepreneurship, you basically have to be willing to put in a lifetime of work and get nothing in return, because that's possible. People think the risk of following your dreams is like you're gonna fail and it's gonna be done and over with. The risk is dedicating your entire life, all of your time, on something that may not pay you back. That's the risk. The risk is me grinding for 30 years on YouTube and never making a dime. That's a risk. It's not just like take this little leap and upload one video. It's like I put effort into this until I make it, or I just waste my life. Like, literally, that's such a huge risk, man. Like, I can't even begin to describe how scary this is. And I'm not even putting all of my eggs in this basket. I do want it really bad, man. I want to be huge. I want to be wealthy from making videos. I really do. I want to do it in an honorable, truthful way where I'm delivering value. But like, dude, it is so much easier to make a full-time living getting a job. I promise you it's so much easier. Literally, it's so much easier that that's what I have to do. Like, I've had free time to grind this, and like, it just isn't working. And I'm not blaming anything. I only blame myself. I only think of it as like, I need to improve or change things to level up my content. But like, dude, of course, like, playing video games and uploading videos and creating stuff, like, of course that's a dream job because it just ticks all of the boxes for me. But it's not just like playing video games and getting paid. Like, literally no one does that. The majority of the work goes into editing, probably planning all kinds of stuff, and it's very difficult to enjoy it while you're in it. The other thing you have to consider about rich and famous people is they also get a lot of baggage that comes with that. I am at like such a low level, I wouldn't even call it fame. I don't even know if you could call myself like a micro influencer. Even with just a couple thousand subs on each of my channels, the amount of hate that I get is insane. I mean, literally, I've been called fat so many times in the past year. It's wild. You just don't have to deal with that at work. Like, I'm pretty sure that would be illegal. You know, someone would be harassing you, essentially. You think your boss's mean email is bad? Wait until you read the things that people online will say about you. Because it's worse. it's worse. Again, that's at my level of fame. 2,000 subscribers is where that level is. Now imagine someone who's ultra famous. It has to be a nightmare. They can't go anywhere. They can't do anything. Probably can't even have friends, because you don't know if it's just another guy trying to get in your circle and like be your whatever, just leech off you, man. Like, female celebrities, I feel so bad for, because I mean, like, they are in constant danger. There are stories of like crazy dudes trying to break into these women's houses, like all kinds of stuff, man. It's so far beyond anything you would deal with at a 9-to-5. Now, there's bad things at 9-to-5, and again, guys, I used to be a mechanic. I work now. Like, my main thing is, you know, a 9-to-5 pays you the first day you start working. Entrepreneurship, content creation, being an artist, being any kind of creative is not like that. You have to be prepared to do your craft, to do your thing for like a decade before you see a dime. And like, that isn't an exaggeration. That's a really scary thing, you know? It's like, I've been working at this my whole 20s, and I've watched all of my friends, everyone I know, be more successful than me in every aspect, because I'm like just chasing this dream. And it's not paid off financially at all. Now, like, I do get a little bit of money. It's really not, it's nowhere close to live off of. And that's not me complaining either, like, I'm not just doing this for the money. And so I could see if you're one of these younger streamers and you blow up out of nowhere and all of a sudden you're rich and it didn't really feel like you did all that much, I could understand why you would say that. But the reality for most people is, like, content creation is going to be a harder way to make money than working a typical job. As I said earlier in the video, like, I have looked for alternative money-making methods very, very diligently, and I have tried a lot. I have searched through so many side hustles and looked for so many ways I can make money outside of a job, and I can tell you with a lot of confidence, I really do think the fastest and easiest way to make money in America is a job. And that sucks to hear, because people don't want to work them because they suck. And so, I don't know, I wanted to throw that perspective out there because I could be doing something very wrong. I could be making massive mistakes in my content. But, you know, sometimes there are people on my channel who are like, wow, I can't believe how little subscribers you have. You know, you make really good content. That kind of thing. Or like, you're gonna be huge one day. Like, I can't believe you don't have more subs. That kind of thing. And it's like, this is the game. You know, there's a lot to figure out about it. And so, like, the bottom line is, if you're an everyday person working a normal job and you think content creation is so easy to make a bunch of money doing, then why don't you do it? That's what I don't get. If you think it's so easy to just upload videos and make millions of dollars, why wouldn't you do it? And then the ironic thing is, like, they'll just be like, oh, well, I'm a little shy on camera. It's like, yeah, everyone is. I've seen so many videos of, like, people who are getting into content creation. They're like, oh my god, this is a lot harder than I thought. Speaking into a camera is difficult. My fucking throat is dry right now. Like, I think one of my final points is, like, people conflate physical labor with working hard. There is such thing as working hard mentally. And I'm going to say this, and this is just my opinion, but I think creative work is the most mentally challenging work imaginable. I just went to school for graphic design and video, and it was infinitely more difficult than I could have imagined. Taking creativity, which is something that is completely open-ended, and trying to create a product for a client is something that's extremely difficult because it's so subjective and open-ended. I mean, there's a million different right answers. That's hard. That's how content creation is too. There's no rules. You have to come up with everything from scratch pretty much. And then whatever you came up with has to appeal to like millions of people. I wish content creation was easier to make money than a 9-to-5, because then I would probably be making a decent living doing this. Content creation is so difficult to make money on, I have to go back and go find a real job and go do something else to make money until this works out. So I don't know, I don't like the narrative that this is easy. It's not an easy way to make money. It's not easy to do in the first place. I think there are other approaches that are much more lackadaisical. Obviously, there are people on TikTok who literally just hold a phone up, record themselves, and make a lot of money doing it. I wish I knew how to do that. I wish I understood it better. I think a lot of people sometimes are lying about how much they're making, and obviously a lot of these guru type people are definitely full of shit. So you really got to be careful, because you don't actually know how successful people really even are. Because the exterior metrics on TikTok and YouTube are sometimes not great indicators of how much money a person's actually making from what they're doing. I've just been seeing so many of these videos, and I wanted to throw out my opinion as a small creator, as someone who hasn't made it. There's a lot of people who are really big streamers who are saying, no, working a 9-to-5 is easy too. Listen, let me tell you, like, a lot of 9-to-5s are easy as hell too. Dude, I've had 2 jobs now where my job was to have a pulse. Have a pulse and stand at this counter. Say hello to people when they walk up to you. That's the job. That's definitely not harder than being a content creator. I used to be a mechanic. Again, I say being a mechanic was easier than being a content creator because they paid me the first day that I showed up to be a mechanic. And then they paid me the second day and the third day. They paid me every hour I worked as a mechanic, even when I wasn't very good. even when I was an apprentice. But now as a content creator, apparently I suck and I don't make any money. So I don't know, man. And I am at a point where I feel like I can appropriately say I've put the work in. I've made over like 500 YouTube videos, both vertical and long form. And guys, this isn't me complaining. I love doing this. I don't necessarily do it for the money. I absolutely do love money and would love to make a fortune doing this. You know, that's just me being honest and transparent about that. But I also love it. But I also do make this video just to also be a warning, like, if you're going into content creation for only the money, that's a really stupid idea. One thing I'll see often is like, oh, I want to make a YouTube channel, but I don't really know what kind of videos I would make. That's like, what? Then why do you want to make a YouTube channel? My suspicion there is it's someone who just thinks it's like just an easy side hustle method to make some extra money. And it's like, you would be better off donating plasma or getting a part-time job at Amazon or something. Like, genuinely, it's difficult. And I'm not discouraging people from trying it. Like, if you want to go for it, go for it. I'm doing it. I'm still in it to win it. This idea that you're just gonna hop in and make a shitload of money for like very little effort, ha. It does happen. Some people get lucky. It can happen. Even some of those overnight successes are not, in fact, overnight successes. I mean, I think one of the most recent crazy examples are like the Costco guys. The dad of the Costco guys has been basically making content for like well over a decade. He had like some sports podcast, and he had some other show or something, and just now off of some like dumb We're Costco Guys TikTok, he blew up, and all of his hard work manifested into the success that he has now. But I mean, people look at videos like that and they're like, oh look, this guy got rich overnight. And it's like, he's genuinely been grinding it for 10 fucking years, man. Another great example is like PewDiePie. Like, PewDiePie released a video a day for a decade straight. That's fucking insane, dude. That's fucking insane. Like, that's a good work ethic, man. And you could make the argument, okay, they're low effort or, you know, production quality, blah, blah. But still, I mean, that's the level of consistency that the greatest of all time had. And so, I don't know. I mean, like, PewDiePie's a really great example, because there are people who look at PewDiePie and they're like, oh, this kid just got lucky for uploading, like, dumb shitpost videos. It's like, he was dedicated to this shit and uploaded every day for a decade. Nobody has that kind of dedication to anything in their life. Nobody you know in the real world has been that consistent. That's crazy. It's like such a crazy fact, I still have a hard time believing it. I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in there from being a smaller creator who is like genuinely putting serious effort into this. It's not that easy. And again, maybe I'm doing something wrong. If you see anything obvious that I'm doing wrong, please, for the love of God, let me know. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's just like really interesting, because I think this whole game is significantly harder than people think. And I think it's significantly harder to make a full-time living doing this than people think. And I think getting to a point in YouTube, and again, whether you're an artist, a creative, a business person, an entrepreneur, whatever, they're all kind of in the same boat where you're taking matters into your own hands, you're creating something, and you're doing something new and unique. You're your own boss, that kind of thing, and essentially it's just you versus the marketplace. Anything like that is significantly harder than getting a job, because otherwise a lot more people would be doing it. And to put some perspective on how daunting the YouTube grind is, if you have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which allows you to monetize, so 1,000 subs on YouTube is the baseline for monetization, only 15% of channels have made it there. So if you make it to the beginning of monetization, if you make it to the start line of making money in content creation, you are in the top 15%. That's how fucking hard it is. Like, now granted, not everyone's actually going for it, but I actually think it's a less competitive space than people understand too. Curious what your thoughts are, let me know. Again, I have done some hard blue-collar jobs. Now, granted, at all those blue-collar jobs, I never really felt like they were super duper hard, and there are harder jobs than being a mechanic. I actually think being a line cook was neck and neck with being a mechanic. Being a line cook's more stressful than being a mechanic. It's a lot harder than people think. But anyway, I'm curious what your thoughts are. I know this is a controversial topic, but I felt like I should get my voice out there about it.